Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Hero. I'm your host, Robert, from the independent scene to the main event of WrestleMania. Alright, TNA Slammiversary from yesterday. Okay, it was a show. It wasn't horrible. I mean, I actually, for the most part, enjoyed it, and it basically went exactly the same way I thought it would in the preview. If you go back and look at my preview, I basically... 2 matches I did not get the winner for. The X title, almost got it right, but it's kind of a wonky ending to it. But yeah, and then the TNA International title I did not get right, which that's fine. You know, I don't mind being wrong sometimes, as long as when I am wrong that I enjoyed the show, which I did. So all right, first match on the countdown. We had a triple threat women's match. We had Sade, Indi, Hartwell, and Elayna Black. Decent match, 5-minute and 3-second match. Typical pre-show kind of match. That's the best way to describe this match. And there wasn't really anything spectacular that happened. And just like I said in the preview, Elayna Black would get the victory, and she did. I ended up giving it 2.5. Just your standard 5-minute pre-show match. Literally all this was. Match you would see on Impact. So, but Elayna Black getting the victory there. Then we had Ricky Sosa, who was kind of an up-and-comer in the independent wrestling scene, going up against EY, one of the TNA originals, Eric Young. Originally, this match was supposed to have been on the main card, but they bumped it to the countdown. And again, one of those basic kind of pre-show countdown matches. Ricky Sosa getting the victory over Eric Young in 6 minutes and 4 seconds, and I gave it 2 3/4 stars. Nothing spectacular, but just a good, solid little match. Watching the development of Ricky Sosa, if you follow independent wrestling at all, is actually kind of cool to see these guys go from other companies, such as, where's he been at lately? Let's see. House of Glory, where he actually had a match against Amazing Red on their Inferno show. He's been at WXW. We Love Wrestling. He actually faced their European champion. He's been, let's see, some other shows. WXW, he did a couple TNA stuff last year and some other real kind of small indie shows he's been with. But mainly I've seen him, he did a Progress show last year in OTT. So... And then at the WXW, and then House of Glory is the kind of the shows I know him from. And so, I mean, starting to turn into a decent little wrestler, so not too bad. All right, we have the main card start with the TNA X Division Championship on the line in the Ultimate X match. They actually said a couple things that I actually had to go look up because they did not seem real to me. They said that when Amazing Red came out, this is his first match in TNA in 15 years. I'm going, what? No way. Oh, yeah. Tom Hannafin was right. I looked it up. Blew me away to think that. He hasn't been around in TNA in that long. He's been obviously around wrestling. He co-owns House of Glory with Brian XL. So I'm like, cool. And then Frankie Kazarian came out and they said this is his first Ultimate X match in 15 years. I'm like, no way! I looked it up. Holy shit, they were right. A lot of times these announcers, that's why I looked this stuff up, a lot of times these announcers will say facts like that and be completely wrong with it. And it's whatever narrative they're trying to get over. But yeah, no, Tom Hannafin was completely right. And then we had Fabian Aichner, Frankie Kazarian, Casey Navarro, Mr. Elegance, Leon Slater, and then the champion, Cedric Alexander. Now, this actually was a really good match to start. You had Slater doing his dives to the outside. Casey Navarro did a dive to the outside, and I want to say, I think Aichner was out there, and then when Slater did his dive, he was out there, and then when Casey Navarro dived, they caught him, and then you had Fabian Aichner come out, corner to the outside, and then you had Red do his flippy thing outside, flipping senton on the outside. You had Kaz and Cedric Alexander in the ring, and then Aichner was on one corner, and then Amazing Red on the other corner, and they all went to the ropes at the same time. I thought the end, I mean, overall, it was a good match. Don't get me wrong. But I think the end was a little wonky. You had Leon Slater and Amazing Red. If you do Ultimate X, there's basically 4 wires that go across the top, and then the title's hanging in the middle. You have to unhook the title, go to the mat. When you hit the mat, you have to hold the title to be champion. If you drop the title and somebody else picks it up and they're standing on the mat, they're champion. So it's not necessarily who unhooks it. It's whoever is got both feet on the mat when the title's in their possession. So you have the title in the middle. You have Leon Slater, Amazing Red, trying to unbuckle the title. Leon Slater unbuckles the title, is literally hanging down, holding the title. Cedric Alexander literally walks by, jumps up, grabs it, boom, he retains his title. I know they probably didn't like that before, I just don't recall them. I just thought that was kind of a wonky ending. And only giving it 10 minutes and 27 seconds to start the show, that was kind of wonky to me, but that's what they did. That's what we had, and so Cedric Alexander retained his title. I actually thought Leon Slater was going to get the victory there. That's what I said in the preview. Almost did, but I ended up giving it 3 3/4 star. It was a good match. It's one of those matches to start a show like this. It's like, all right, this show's going to be pretty good. That was a good match. I like it. All right, next up we had Elijah taking on AJ Francis. He had Expressions out there with him. So apparently the storyline with this has been AJ Francis was able to buy the rights to Elijah, or got the rights to Elijah's name, likeness, song, library, the whole 9 yards. He has complete business control over everything Elijah. Elijah comes out singing one of his songs, and you have AJ stopping him saying, look, I own the rights to this song, you can't sing it. And so basically, if whoever won got to rights to everything Elijah. So you had Elijah go. They start in the ring. Elijah ends up going to the outside. You had AJ go. He went to the ropes, ran to the ropes like he was going to do a big old dive on the outside, and taunted the crowd a little bit. You had this Expressions dude out there getting involved, and he ended up pissing off the referee at one point. He's distracting Elijah. The referee ended up kicking him out. You had Elijah do a dive off the top rope onto AJ Francis. He ends up hitting the Alabama Slam on AJ Francis. Then this Expressions dude was back out there. He gets hit with a guitar by Elijah. Well, but almost on the distraction, Francis almost got the pin on Elijah over that. But Elijah was able to kick out, was able to get on top of it, and was able to get the 1, 2, 3 on AJ Francis to retain his rights and everything, which, okay. I mean, it was okay. It was entertaining. 9 minutes and 10 seconds. I give it 3 1/4 star. We didn't really carry that storyline on for more than a week or two. That's one of those storylines, I think, if you want to really build that up a little bit, is you have Elijah have multiple different matches with different people, and every time the spotlight, because they came out and there was no music and the spotlight hit him, he starts singing. You have AJ come out and stop him and take his guitar and say, now I own your guitar and you have to pay me. Just stuff like that. Just build it up a little bit where it's finally like Elijah just breaks and has to miss the match. But anyways, hopefully that storyline is done with now. Kind of hoping so, but we'll see. Next up, we had the TNA Knockout World Tag Titles on the line. We had champion the Elegance brand, headed by Elegance and in by Elegance, with Ash by Elegance and the personal Concierge out there. And then versus DemonXBunny, Allie, and Rosemary. I said in the preview, I actually thought DemonXBunny would win this, and they actually did. They give it 9 minutes and 39 seconds. It was one of those weird matches where the personal Concierge guy, Rosemary, ended up spitting the green mist in his face. You had the Elegance brand almost fumbling and hitting each other at times. And it just looked like a cluster. and then you ended up having Allie and Rosemary get the victory. It's like, never really had a, to me at least, it never had a really complete flow to it and understanding of what they were trying to do. Getting 9 minutes and 39 seconds, pretty short match. I ended up giving it 2.5 with the DemonXBunny, Allie and Rosemary as your TNA Knockout Tag Team Champions. Next up, we have the TNA International title on the line. This was sold as in the pre-show. It was sold as a triple threat match. One person from Santina Marella, one person from whatever the hell her name is, the GM of the company. What the hell is her name? I can't even remember her name in freaking WWE even, but she's been around forever. And so it's like, okay, the first person to come out was Rich Swann. I'm like, that's really not a big, because they're supposed to be a big surprise. Rich Swann, that's really not a surprise. I mean, okay, he's been a TNA World Champion. He's been TNA. He's been a Cruiserweight Champion in WWE. Cool, that's fine. Because it's supposed to be like either a World Champion or a Cruiserweight or a Intercontinental Champion from WWE was supposed to be here. So it's like, okay, we'll see what happens here. And then the next one up was UN Nation. Oh, okay, Apollo Crews. Cool. This kind of threw me for a loop. Because Apollo's last match in WWE was on SmackDown before Mania. That's only 2.5 months ago. Unless his contract was up, shouldn't he have a 90-day no-compete clause? And he just appeared on LFG not long ago. Which, as I'm looking up his history here, I guess the LFG was... Oh my god, LFG was actually taped in January. Oh my god, I did not know that. That is hilarious. So the LFG stuff he does taped... Okay, so he was literally just on it. So, okay, that makes a little sense. But still, it's like, that's not 90 days, and he was part of the main roster, so why didn't he have the 90 no-compete clause? So I thought that was kind of weird to me. But I'm glad to see Apollo is in a place like TNA where I think he is a guy that can grow his character, grow his ability in the ring as well. I've always thought he was uber talented, just didn't have the mic skills. So hopefully UN Nation returning to the Indies in TNA, he can go ahead and win some titles and kind of put himself at the top of the card where he belongs. But this match, yeah. Ali did a UN Nation did a backflip on the outside on Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali ended up. This is a weird spot. UN Nation had Rich Swann up on his shoulders. He backs toward the corner turnbuckle. Ali's sitting there on the turnbuckle, ends up grabbing him. It's almost like there was like a tag team. They grabbed him, and then Mustafa Ali ended up doing a Styles Clash off the second rope. Yeah, I don't know what was up with all the freaking Styles Clashes in this freaking show. AJ Francis did like 2 Styles Clashes, faked another one. You had freaking Mustafa Ali doing Styles Clashes. I'm like, is it a freaking honor, a tribute to AJ or something? I didn't get it. But anyway, Mustafa Ali does a Styles Clash and so it was weird because when it's like he ended up kicking Nation when he grabbed Swann from him. So Nation's laying on the ground. He does so Ali does the Styles Clash off the top rope with Swann onto Nation and gets the 1-2-3 pin, and Mustafa Ali retaining his international championship. I know originally I had thought the surprise was going to be like Braun Strowman or Killer Kross or somebody, because time-wise they would be able to show up. UN Nation wasn't. Unless his contract expired and not released, I didn't think he could show up based on the 90 compete clause. So that's kind of interesting, but it's cool to see him in TNA. I'm happy. So 3.5 stars. Hopefully UN Nation will get a one-on-one title shot against Mustafa Ali sooner than later. Next up, we have a no surrender match. So this was Moose versus Eddie Edwards JDC was in Moose's corner. Alisha Edwards was in Eddie's corner. Basically, the only way this match would end is if JDC or Alisha Edwards threw in the towel for their respective wrestler, and that's the only way this match would end. So they basically, somebody had to surrender for the wrestler for this to end. Okay. I was actually worried that JDC was going to turn on Moose, because they were all part of the system together. Moose actually started the system. When JDC retired, his replacement was Bear Bronson, and then Cedric Alexander comes out and helps Eddie attack Moose and kick Moose out of the system, and they brought in Cedric Alexander and Bear Bronson. So Eddie does the dive to the outside. I mean, literally, as soon as that bell, I mean, Moose wasn't even in the ring yet, taking his ring jacket off. Eddie basically went into the ropes, and bell rings, and he dives to the outside. And Moose ended up getting his jacket off and getting up and powerbombing Eddie Edwards into the ringside, literally like in the middle of the shoulders, right into the top of that bar right there on the side of the ring, like Kevin Owens used to do that powerbomb. He did the Sami Zayn at the time for the NXT. It's like, holy shit! I thought Eddie was dead at that point. Eddie ended up tying Moose to the ropes with like twist ties. Of course, Eddie goes over and starts, giving shit to Moose's wife and son. His wife ends up coming over through the barrier, ends up getting knocked down by Alisha. Eddie throws her into the ring. The son comes over. And then Eddie gets out of the ring, comes over, and the son was out there, and grabs the son, throws him in the ring, went to do a Styles Clash on him. The son ended up low blowing Eddie. Moose's wife ends up slapping Alisha Edwards, and then Moose ends up getting up from that. He was tied up. He ended up breaking the ties, which, shocker, big as Moose is. And then Moose ended up going after Eddie with a kendo stick. It's like, holy crap. And then JDC gets attacked by Eddie Edwards. And then when Moose is attacking Eddie, Alisha ends up throwing the towel in for Moose to get the victory here. And that's literally what I thought would happen, at least the Moose winning part in the preview. They give it 13 minutes. It was just a lot of wonky shit going on. I would rather have seen them do something like we've seen before, where they would do, like, if you lay Moose's son down with a chair, lay on a chair and have a chair and act like you're going to basically chair toe him, and say either you throw the towel in JDC or I can chair to this kid, and try to get have Eddie win or something like that, instead of just the zip ties. I'm like, this is just kind of wonky to me. But anyway, we ended up having Moose win that. I gave it 3-star. Next up, we had a TNA Knockout Women's Title line. We had champion Li Ying Lee taking on her former partner, Xia Brookside. They were a tag team together. Xia turned on Leah. Typically, when you see that, and one's got a singles title, this is what happens. They have the title match, and then typically, like I said in the preview, the person who turned on the person who was champion ends up winning the title the first match they have. Kaboom, here you go. Simple as that. The fact that it lasted almost 12 minutes, I'm shocked until I saw that. I ended up giving it a 2.5. And then we had the sub-main event, the TNA World Tag Titles on the line in a fatal 4-way ladder match. We had the Broken Hardys, Brother Nero and Matt Hardy, taking on the System, Bear Bronson and Brian Myers, who were champions, coming in, and versus the Righteous, Dutch and Vincent, and the Great Hands, Jason Hotch and John Skyler. Well, it's your typical ladder match. You had somebody decide to set up tables, stacked 4 tables, so you knew somebody or a couple people were going through those stacks of tables. You had multiple ladders. The cool thing is you had the Righteous bring their own ladder. It was a white ladder with barbed wire tied around it, and, quote, poisonous flowers on it. That's what they said. Yeah, kind of a cool looking ladder, mind you. You had Bronson, Big Bear Bronson attacking people. You had Bronson up on the ladder. Him and Dutch are going for the titles. Ladder's in the middle of the ring. Two guys. The Hardys standing in the ring. It did not take a rocket scientist to know what was getting ready to happen. 4 tables over there. Ladder here. You push the ladder. The two guys fall into the 4 tables. It was predictable. And that's exactly what happened. Big ass spot. We've seen it a million times. Still pretty cool when you see it. And then we take the ladder, take one of the ladders, we set it between the ring and the little wall thing. Somebody's going to do that. Yep, the good hands, the great hands, with a swanton from Brother Nero. Okay, so now we wiped out Dutch a long time ago, or Vincent a long time ago. Dutch is over there through a table. Brian Myers is out on the floor somewhere. We put Bear Bronson through those tables. The Great Hand just got swanton through a ladder. The only thing left for the Broken Hardys to walk up the ladders and grab some titles. And that's exactly what happened. The Broken Hardys, Brother Nero and Matt Hardy, are your new TNA World Tag Team Champions. I give it a 4-star. I actually enjoyed the match, even though it was pretty predictable. You kind of knew what was going to happen, but still, those big spots like that, it's like, who's taking this spot? Oh, damn, that's who took the spot, you know, kind of thing like that. But having Brother Nero actually climb up that ladder with barbed wire, that was kind of weird looking, because it's like, damn, the dude's going to hurt himself. And then our main event, the TNA World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Champion Mike Santana taking on Nick Nemeth, who had the cup, #1 contender cup thing. Well, Ryan Nemeth comes out and starts, getting in the ring and distracting the ref. And so we ended up, this is after Nick and Mike Santana had fought a little bit. So referee's over there dealing with Ryan Nemeth. Mike Santana gets out of the ring. Well, this time Nick Nemeth's laying down on the floor. Mike goes around the ring, and about that time, Nick jumps up with that cup thing and just whoops Mike Santana in the face and the head with it. Throws it down like he didn't do anything. The two of them fight back and forth, several false finishes. It's kind of typical. We ended up having Nick Nemeth get the victory here, which is, again, exactly what I said in the preview would happen. I gave it 3 3/4 star, 14 minutes and 47 seconds. So from top to bottom, not a bad premium live event, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it. If you buy TNA Plus, I actually have an old seasonal subscription. So basically each quarter, and I pay for the quarter, which I think is $50, and I get 3 months of TNA plus the major pay-per-views. So it ends up pay-per-view. If you buy the pay-per-view separately, typically they're $40. So I get 2 months of TNA Plus for free with doing that, and it works for me. So the way the pay-per-views fall, it actually works pretty good. They had announced their next live event. Pull up TNA's schedule for their pay-per-views, upcoming pay-per-views. So we got Lockdown August 23rd. Bound for Glory on October 11th. And then they announced for November 15th, Destination X. So they brought Lockdown back. They brought Destination X back. And we are on the road to Bound for Glory. Now, what's kind of funny is if we look at the competition, that other wrestling company that's around, none of those shows, as of right now, counter programming anything that the other company is doing. Unlike that company up north, what they're doing, and we'll talk about that when we get to that shit that was on CW last night. What's that in this today, and that shit that was on CW last night? Good fucking God. You can't call that a premium live event. If you want to call that a premium live event, I got a fucking bridge for sale for you. But anyway, I haven't got to Forbidden Door yet. That's part of tomorrow's project. So, as always, thanks for watching Rubber Sports Show, and don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Rubber Sports Show, your YouTube leader. Rubber Sports Show, from the independent scene to the main event of WrestleMania. Don't just have a great night. Have a spiffy night. Thanks for watching.